Welcome to the show. I am really excited about this interview. It's going to happen because I'm going to be learning so much about World Hunger Relief that's located here in Central Texas. I've got Beth Ferguson here, who's the interim executive director,
Hello.
and Dave Whitby, who is a prospective board member. I was thinking you're a past board member. You said, oh no, I'm learning all about it and all in on this organization.
That's exactly right.
So excited to have you here. First of all, for people that don't know or anything about World Hunger Relief, this is a farm, right?
Yeah. So we've been in the community for about 50 years. This next April, we will celebrate our 50-year anniversary.
That's amazing.
Yeah, we're excited to celebrate that. It's been a journey and it's been a fun one. I've been at the farm for about 3 years now. But our mission is to alleviate hunger through education, research, and sustainable agriculture.
Well, that's a pretty big task.
It is. It absolutely
Right?
is. Yeah. We do a lot of advocating around trying to improve our local food system, but then also trying to improve people in their communities, how they can be sustainable in their own spaces, and then to help alleviate hunger, which if you don't know what that means, that just means people who suffer from food insecurity or they don't know where their next meal is going to come from, trying to teach them different ways, especially in this environment where things are uncertain from day to day and we don't know what's going to happen. So people can rely on their own backyard to produce food and supply their family with what they need.
So this really is a hands-on approach to growing what you need to eat.
Yeah, absolutely. And
What are some of the best crops?
so we do kind of a variety. We do things differently than traditional agriculture. We do all regenerative properties in our farming, and so we have.
What does that mean?
So regenerative farming is different than typical modern farming, where we try and reuse everything. We do all organic practices. We try to just use every bit of sustainability that we can with low inputs in our fertilizer. So we do natural fertilizers and natural things to help the soil be really beneficial and healthy. No pesticides, nothing like that. And so
Organic, for sure.
organic, yeah, organic practices. But we really want to kind of be good stewards of the land that we have, the earth that we have, and make sure that we're leaving it better than we found it.
I would assume composting a very big part of what you do.
Yes, yeah. So we do composting. We do backyard composting. We have a demonstration garden where we can show people how they can learn about composting in their own space. Then we have a larger composting system near our market garden, which is where we grow everything that we take to farmers market. And then we also do community pickups here with a few restaurants. Mamica is someone that we partner with. Just different places around that have a lot of natural things that we can add to the compost. Coffee places, and so
Several restaurants and so forth
Yeah.
work with you with their overages, and
Yeah,
rather than throw it away.
absolutely, yeah. We try and
Into the
divert.
trash can.
We
It's-
try and divert as much as we can from landfills because you can reuse all that and it can
Yeah.
turn into rich soil and it's great for the plants and it's a great thing to help be sustainable.
For the earthworms and all that.
Absolutely,
All that good
yeah.
stuff. Dave, tell me a little bit about yourself now. I know you're retired. Your career was like in heavy machinery. Right?
I was in the equipment business with time manufacturing for a long time here. I've been in back in Waco almost 25 years now. And I retired in 2017 and highly involved in my church, Harris Creek, and doing community service. I'm a city council member at Woodway. And I was approached to see if I wanted to get involved with World Hunger Relief. And
So who approached you? Can you?
well, a gentleman by the name of Charles Wiley. He was president of Time for a long, long time. And
Okay, so one of your former colleagues.
yes,
Yeah, work
a good
colleague.
friend now. And so he's on the board. And so we decided
So you
to-
didn't know anything really about?
not too
World
much.
Hunger Relief, really?
I'd been to the Abundance Banquet for a couple of years in a row now. So I've heard what really excites me, Ann, about World Hunger Relief is the opportunity or the mission to teach people how to farm and then send them out around the world to teach people how to feed themselves. So if we can, get in the line, in terms of food insecurity globally, just in the little space that World Hunger Relief has here in Waco, and get in the line of supplying people that know how to do it, and go teach people in Uganda or wherever how to feed themselves. We've made a difference in the world just from little Waco here. So not only can we impact our local food system here, but I think being able to put people in the queue, so to speak, to teach other people how to feed themselves in a sustainable way, I think is important. And once I learned about that, I think it's really worth being part of. I think it's worth helping people understand what the farm does and the potential that the farm has to impact hunger on a global basis in a small way. So yeah, I'm all in.
Well, you mentioned the Abundance Banquet, so let's talk about that. That is coming up on the
Yeah.
6th of November, correct?
Yes, yeah. So we're almost 2 weeks out tomorrow. And yeah, it's our 4th annual fundraising event that we have. It's hosted at Milo. Corey McIntyre is actually on our board as well.
Well, that whole farm to table thing is what that restaurant's all about,
Yeah,
isn't it?
yeah.
And that's really what you're doing.
Yeah. So we actually will have some produce that we've grown from the farm that will be that will be served at that event. Corey does amazing things. He's kind of a magician with food, and so he prepares a really fabulous meal for us. It's donors and people interested in supporting the farm. Kind of what Dave was talking about with sending people out globally. The farm has had over 400 interns since its inception come through the farm. We've sent people out to at least 20 different countries. We've had a lot of funding difficulties. COVID was a major setback for us.
I'm sure.
Yeah, and then also,
Although you were outside, I mean, that was one of the
right,
one of the things
right.
that people that were doing gardening and all that kind of stuff,
it was
they were
great.
okay.
Yeah, that was we were able to do very very small things, but with being kind of an on-site farm.
Yeah.
For a lot of different groups, it was just very challenging. Funding was difficult to acquire, and then this last year, in 2023, we were awarded a grant through the EPA with Mission Waco, Baylor, City of Waco. It was going to be a substantial grant for us, for all of us. And then we found out early this May that funding was going to be pulled. And so we've had to really pivot this year.
I know Mission Waco had to really do some some quick steps.
Yeah. So this fundraiser is so significant for us. It's a way to kind of help get us back on our feet and kind of rethink how we're going to do our programs for next year. Summer farm camp. That's still happening, which is such a hit. So many people have come through and had their kids come through our farm camp. And so this Abundance, we're going to have a live painter, Cade Kegris. Yeah, he's going to be there. He's going to be doing a painting.
Heard
He's amazing.
this artist, yes.
Yeah, he's wonderful.
And so he's going to paint during the day and then auction it off?
He is. Yeah, he's going to
that's the
auction
one?
it off at the end of the night. Yeah,
Wonderful.
He's a wonderful
Yeah.
human being. Has such a heart.
How good.
To help us out. And then also we have a jazz band that's going to be there, Uptown Swing. They'll be there as well. And then we'll have our silent auction, which, teaser alert, there is possibly a year's supply of Bluebell ice cream up for bid. So
Okay.
you might want to check it
I
out.
would think you probably have a good supply of sponsors want to help you out
Yeah.
with these things.
Yeah, so we do have sponsorships available. It has been difficult again with this year. I think it's been difficult across the board for everyone. So we are still looking for sponsors to help out with this event and make it as successful as we can.
Yeah, for sure. Well, there's so much more I want to talk to you about,
Yeah.
when it comes to the Abundance Banquet that is coming up again on November 6th. So stay with us because we will be back. We're going to take a quick break. I want to tell you that today's show is brought to you by Gather & Co., where they transform houses into homes. We'll be right back.
With a focus on performance, design, and customer service, we're here to help you work smarter, not harder. Join us on our journey to simplify your world. Visit acasis.com today. That's ACASIS.com today.
If your home's feeling a bit dated or you're dreaming of that beautiful outdoor oasis, I have got the team for you. Gather & Co., the family-owned remodeling pros right here in Greater Waco since 1998. Led by the Falconberry family, they specialize in stunning kitchen and bathroom makeovers. Think custom walk-in showers, sleek cabinetry, and aging-in-place upgrades for easy living. They also nail outdoor spaces with pergolas, patio covers, sunrooms, and screen rooms that turn your backyard into a year-round retreat. What sets them apart? Personalized designs, top-notch craftsmanship, and a hassle-free process for free in-home consultations to spot-on completion, plus financing options to make it simple. Customers love them, raving about the friendly crew and attention to every. Ready to gather in your dream home? Call Gather & Co. today, 254-759-1147 for a no-obligation quote. Visit GatherCoRemodeling.com. Your remodel starts here.
World Hunger Relief has been teaching people about food, farming, and nutrition for almost 40 years. Our work takes us to many places around the world, but the most important place to us is our own community. World Hunger Relief's educational farm in Waco provides an ideal location for us to teach people about food, farming, nutrition, and the issues around those topics. Our farm is also a perfect outdoor classroom, and we host thousands of kids each year, teaching them about numerous topics within the TEACS curriculum. You can talk to our service learning intern about creating a tour that suits your goals by calling our office or emailing them at localeducation@worldhungerrelief.org. Our farm also hosts numerous college and church groups who participate in our poverty service learning program called Living on the Other Side. This program gets participants to start the conversation about issues around poverty and hunger in the world. We also have school gardening programs at J.H. Hines Elementary, Provident Heights Elementary, and Indian Springs Middle School. While we have been teaching kids about nutritious foods and how to grow them, we've also found a gap between knowledge and access. Almost half of the people in Waco live in food deserts, which are areas where people do not have access to healthy foods. This year, we launched the Veggie Van, a mobile food truck selling vegetables and serving these neighborhoods. We appreciate the support the Waco community has shown World Hunger Relief, and would like to thank Waco ISD Cares for this opportunity for its staff to partner with World Hunger Relief.
And we're back with Beth Ferguson, who's the interim executive director of World Hunger Relief, and Dave Whitby, who is on the Woodway City Council.
I am.
We can talk a little bit about that too. But you're a prospective board member. You're just kind of learning about this organization, and I certainly am too. I was calling it World Hunger Farm, but is farm in the name?
It's not technically in the name. It is referred to as the farm or the World Hunger Relief Farm. There's variations.
Okay, so where are you located, and how many acres? What are we talking about?
Yeah, so we are about 10 minutes north of downtown Waco. We're right off 77 near Spring Lake Road.
Uh-huh.
And it's a 40-acre working farm. And so we have cows and bunnies and chickens. We're getting ducks later this week. So it's a fully functioning production farm as well. We have our live-in volunteer programs where we invite people to come and live at the farm and learn some practical skills along the way. It's a really beautiful and unique place.
So you mentioned interns. I mean, who from what walks of life are your I'm thinking Baylor kids is what I'm thinking.
Yeah.
But who comes as an intern to World Hunger
Absolutely.
Relief?
Yeah. So we've had people from all walks of life. Well, we have people, we've had people come through our internship who were in their late 70s,
Really?
who are just really wanting to learn more about sustainability. And we have all the way down to, college kids. You're exactly right. We have a lot of partnerships with Baylor. We have the Truett Seminary class with Dr. Howe, who meets out at the farm.
I had read about that
Yeah.
Truett was involved. And so, let's talk a little bit more
Yeah,
about
so-
how the seminary is involved with this.
Yeah, so Dr. Howe has an amazing program. It's called the Theology, Ecology, and Food Justice program. It's a master's program through Truett, and they come out every Monday, and her students get kind of a deep dive into all things theology and food justice and kind of the things that are working against our food system and how we can create a better environment to help people and feed more people in our community.
Yes. Of course, we deal with the weather. I mean, any farmer
Right.
or gardener
Yeah.
deals with the weather. What are you growing out there now? What do you grow a lot of?
Yeah, so like I said, we rotate our crops. We
Okay.
do what's called permaculture, which means we don't just do one specific crop. But back in our market garden right now, we have some kale that's getting ready for the winter, and then some carrots, which are a big hit at farmers market. We sell out pretty much every time we have carrots at farmers market.
Do you do the fancy ones that are purple and
We
pretty
do.
colors?
Yeah, we have those kinds of carrots, and people. I mean, it seems silly, but people rave about our carrots. They are quite delicious. We have again, we don't use any kind of additives or synthetic chemicals, so all natural, very safe. Like I said, we want to work with nature to create really robust soil and then nutritious food. So it's extra good for you.
Well, anyone who's ever grown a tomato at home or a green bean, they taste so much better.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah.
True enough.
Yes.
No,
Yeah.
really.
We've had people come through and say, "Oh, I'm sorry, I don't like carrots, but sure, I'll try yours." And they're like, "That's not a carrot that I just tasted. That was delicious." And so I don't know what I was getting at the grocery store.
Well, yeah, there's that. I mean, things are picked so early and then they're gassed and who knows
Right,
what all in
right.
order to get it to market and feed massive numbers of people, which is,
Exactly.
that's, government shutdown and how has that affected what you're seeing and what you're doing?
Yeah. So yeah, we actually were hoping to apply for some federal funding through the USDA that opened up in October, and unfortunately, because they are shut down, we're delayed. We haven't heard from anyone in that office to see if it's postponed or if that funding is not going to be available once the government opens back up. So it's kind of a wait and see right now, but it is affecting how we're planning for the future and that critical funding that's going to help us with prolonged growing seasons and producing more.
Well, you mentioned you have a live-in kind of experience for
Yeah.
people. How long a period of time? Is this like a class or how does this work?
Yeah, so we invite people to apply online on our website to our live-in volunteer program. And we just ask them to exchange a certain number of hours of volunteer time for their room and board. And so they get to learn about how to take care of our animals. They get to do chores in the mornings and the evenings. They get to learn how to move our cattle around. And so it's just a really great experience if anyone's looking to kind of see if farm life is for them.
Yeah. Milking involved. And...
We do not have milk cows right
Oh,
now.
okay. So no egg gathering. I mean,
We
are
do
you
have eggs.
having
Yes. Yep.
Oh man, that's
yeah.
great.
Yeah. So it's a great opportunity for anyone who's interested in learning more about what we do.
Yeah. So Dave, you a gardener?
I am not, but I like to eat.
Oh yeah.
And, the idea of, like, as I said a while ago, the idea of teaching people how to feed themselves is absolutely a passion for me. I mean, and when I got the opportunity to even be considered to be part of the Brain Trust, to see how the farm works and how we can, as a community, help grow it and send it out across the world, that just is fascinating. And once I met Beth and her passion for this, and I think she's absolutely the right person to be doing this. So
So
Yeah.
you've been there 3 years in your interim. What's the deal?
So we're in a transition phase right now. So
Okay.
again, that's up to the board to decide what happens next.
I got
So
you. I got you.
put in a good word for me, Dave.
I was going to say
yeah,
that.
I can actually make that happen.
Okay. Anyway, yeah, that
Not
sounds,
make her, but I can put in a good word.
well, that sounds like a plan, because you obviously are passionate about what you're doing. When it comes to stories, though, I'm sure in the 3 years you've been there, you've got some stories to tell. What can you share?
I do.
What comes to top of mind?
Yeah, I think it's just the impact that we have when we have kids out to the farm. We do field
Yeah.
trips and we invite kids from Waco ISD. We just had a school from Midway last week. We had 110 fifth graders come out. It was such a fun time, and they just, everything's so exciting and fresh, because a lot of kids now, they don't know where their food, or they know their food comes from HEB.
Yeah,
and
they think
that's-
they go to the grocery store and it's in a little
Exactly.
plastic container.
Yeah, and so just getting to teach kids about the importance of where their food comes from and why it matters, and why eating healthy is so important, not just to be healthy, but to how it's going to affect them the rest of their lives, and how it can affect their family, and teaching them ways that they can help with composting in their family, and take food scraps from the dinner table and just start their own backyard compost. And we did have a funny story. Earlier this spring, we had a field trip out, and there was, we always kind of do a Q&A with the kids about gardening, and we asked them to list something that was spicy that grew on a plant. And we had a kid who raised their hand and they said, Flamin' Hot Cheetos. And, we kind of chuckled at it, but they were very serious, and they thought that, that kind of thing comes from a plant. And so it's really fun
maybe
to
a long time early
Right.
in the process.
Very
you could
long ago.
Sort of, maybe corn's involved, but
Right. So it's just educating kids on how gardening can be fun, and how
right.
eating healthy can be fun. At our summer farm camps, we actually partner with TSTC. They had a chef this last year out, and she would make meals for all of the kids for lunch. And so we would do like rainbow tostadas, and we would teach them how you can have fun with your food and it can taste good. And so eating kale doesn't have to be a horrible experience. It can actually taste
Punishment.
good and be fun. Yeah.
Yeah.
So teaching kids to play with their food and make it fun and exciting, and it can be kind of a revelation when they try kale and beets, and it tastes good.
This is pretty good.
Yeah.
Well, and I love it when the schools have those lab gardens for in the elementary schools, where they actually are growing themselves. I mean, it's just a revelation. To me.
Yeah. So we've done school gardens in the past. We're not currently doing that right now, but we are looking at opportunities to partner with after school programs to be able to bring the farm, or a little bit of the farm, to them for kids who don't have the accessibility to get out to where we are. Right. And so we want to make sure it's available and accessible to everyone in all walks of life, whether they can get to the farm or they can't. We want them to be able to have a little taste of the farm as well.
Well, you have a beautiful website too,
Thank you.
and so if folks want more information, they can go there. Tell them
absolutely.
where you're.
Yeah, so shout out to Four Columns Marketing right here in
they're
downtown
great.
Waco.
Yeah,
They actually redid our website about a year ago. So you can check out more. You can register for Abundance. Look at our silent auction. There will be a link for that when it goes live this next Thursday, and you can find out more about what we're doing.
Okay, again, Abundance. This is going to be on the 6th of November.
Yes.
At Milo's.
Yes.
Just downtown.
Yep.
On Franklin Avenue. And so how can folks get tickets?
Yeah, so they can go to our website. You can also check us out on Instagram at World Hunger Relief. We have a link in our bio that you can click on, and it'll take you to the website. You can register for your tickets. It's always such a fun time. You got fun food, delicious food, I should say, some drinks, cocktails, live auction, good music, great people. So it's just a really fun time to support a local organization and just have our community rally around us.
And what are ticket prices?
They are $150 a person.
Okay.
So those are available.
And if you want to sponsor a table, do you have tables as well?
Absolutely.
I mean, Milo's is not huge, so are they all outside?
Right. So this year we're actually doing something a little different. We are doing sponsorships. Our top tier sponsorships do have access to the open bar. So that might be a perk for some.
They got a pretty renowned bar there.
Right, they do. They have some great cocktails. But then also, you can also be eligible for a private farm tour at the farm with some of your friends, a sunset tour. It's magical out at the farm during sunset. So, any opportunity people have, we have sponsorships available for all different tiers. So anything's available.
Well, it's important that people know what you're doing out there. It is such a great work, isn't it, Dave? I mean, you're passionate about it too.
Absolutely. I think that it is something that can make a difference in this world.
Yeah. Well, you both are, and I appreciate your time today to tell me about World Hunger Relief. Again, November 6th at Milo's is the Abundance.
Yes.
You call it a dinner, banquet, gala?
Abundance dinner. Yeah.
Abundance
benefiting World
dinner.
Hunger Relief.
And you've been doing it a few years, so
Yeah, this is our fourth annual
raise a
fundraiser.
bunch of money. We need to do that.
Yes.
It's a lot of fun.
It is
really
a lot of
I've
fun.
been
It
there
does.
a few
It
years.
sounds like a party.
It is.
Great. Well, thank you, Beth. Of course, we mentioned that you're on the Woodway City Council.
I am.
And have a chance to speak with one of your colleagues, Ken Sury. His interview is coming up on today's show, and I'll tell you that today's show is also brought to you by Fox & Co. Bakery. Speaking of delicious things to eat, where we bake foxy things. Stay with us. There's more ahead. A big thank you to our sponsor, Fox & Co. Bakery. Check them out for delicious baked goods and your catering needs.
It's football season, and we can create your outdoor tailgating spaces that is actually a part of your home. Bifold doors that tie in the inside and the outside, and you can gain anywhere from 1,000 to 5,000 square feet living space, all while taking in the big game, poolside. Call us at Gather & Co. Kitchen and Bath, where we can create your unique tailgating space.
Serving Central Texas since 1889, TFNB Your Bank for Life takes pride in being more than a bank. At TFNB, we remain committed to these principles. If you value them too, come join us. TFNB, Your Bank for Life.
This week is Baylor Homecoming Week. There is going to be a full week of activities going on around campus, including a pep rally and bonfire on Friday evening, the homecoming parade early Saturday morning, and the football game against the University of Central Florida on Saturday evening. Cravings Food Truck Food Park is hosting a trunk or treat on Friday, October 31st from 6 to 9 p.m. Bring your decorated car, costume, treats, and games. It's going to be a fun night with the whole community. Everyone is welcome out to the trunk or treat and to grab a bite from the food trucks. Finally, Temple Parks and Recreation is hosting a Boo Bash for the young kiddos at Wilson Park Rec Center on Wednesday, October 29th from 10:30 to 11 a.m. Kids can enjoy the Halloween crafts, snacks, and show off their precious costumes with a little bit less scares. I'm Elizabeth Riley with your Act Locally Waco News, and I will see you next time.
Welcome to the show. I am so delighted to have Ken Sury here with us. I mean, we're worn many hats: journalist,
Indeed.
storyteller, community leader, city councilman for the city of Woodway.
Yes, second year on that.
And you work now with the Methodist Home.
Yeah, Methodist Children's Home. That's still new for me. Only a couple months into the job, so there obviously are people that could speak better to that than I could. But what a great opportunity to work. I mean, it's a ministry that does a great job helping children and families that have been struggling to kind of find their way and give them that support that they need. So it's a terrific mission that they have. We just got off a conference that we held, and the restart of a lecture series that was free to the public that allowed people to look at social work. Well, it kind of has a social work aspect, but it's mostly look at the series with a person who did a landmark study looking at how childhood trauma can actually have some long-term health consequences.
That's
A
that's not
fascinating.
kind of self-evident in a way, but
Right.
but for them to have actually studied this in a definitive way, how interesting.
Yeah, so he kind of kicked things off, and then we had the CORE conference, which is the Coalition of Residential Excellence, which of course Methodist Children's Home is a member, and it kind of looks at these residential areas like Methodist Home is for bringing these kids and helping them out.
Yeah. Oh, I've always thought it is the most beautiful campus.
It's a gorgeous campus.
It is gorgeous, and I've never been inside, but I can just imagine the rooms and everything are as lovely.
They are. They've got a number of new rooms. In fact, ours is a converted. Ours used to be where we work out. It's called the Perkins Building, but it used to be a residential home. So it still has kind of those elements of it, but now we're in office. It's now office space for us. Yeah.
Well, so what is your exact role there at Methodist Children's
Okay, so
Home?
I am the public relations officer, part of pretty much a 4-person communications team. We're part of the advancement team, which primarily is with donors and fundraising, but mostly it's my part and my colleagues is to get the word out about the great stuff they do, whether it's in our quarterly magazine. It's called Sunshine, so we do features on some of the residents there, the day students, as well as kids in transition services, which are those who are 18 to 25 who still need that help. I mean, I've got a 25-year-old who's still figuring things out, so I know how that
Let's
goes.
not go there.
Yeah, let's not. But so I came from an interview with a young man there who's been helped and is really blossoming through that.
Isn't that neat? I mean, and you're able to use your journalism, obviously, to do that. I'm thinking the Sunshine Magazine. My grandparents were at Austin Avenue Methodist, and they always gave to the Methodist Children's Home. And I think I remember seeing those publications at their house. I think it's probably a pretty historic
It is.
publication.
It is. I mean, it dates back a long way.
Yeah. Well, so what can you tell me about the origins of the Methodist Children's Home?
Well,
I don't know. There's also a ranch too.
There is. That's part of it. So
Yeah.
1890 is when it began.
Okay,
and
that
it
was a hot minute ago.
It was initially an orphanage.
Yeah.
But in the 1940s, they started transitioning over to making it more child care services. So that's where it started to change the name to Methodist Home, and then in '96, it became Methodist Children's Home was the official name.
Okay.
But beyond children, I mean, it's children, youth, it's families, it's kind of that whole unit that might need help with the focus on the kids themselves that have had some sort of trauma. A big part of what is spoken about there is we talk about trauma-informed care. So it's the things that we learn to best help these kids who have any number of issues. I mean, it could be from a mental health aspect. It could be they dealt with poverty. Some of these kids, they or some of the parents, in fact, just couldn't take care of the kids properly.
Just couldn't do it.
So this is a way to help them out, and it's got a long and I think illustrious history that just keeps going. I'm really thrilled to be a part of that.
Yeah, I mean, I can remember as a student in Waco Public Schools at Dean Highland, we would. It was never a big deal made out of it, but I knew certain ones were living at the home,
Right.
the Methodist home. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean there is a school on campus, so there's some that go straight there.
Right.
But there's others that
they
got
go
the bus and they they fit in just fine. In fact,
yeah.
the student that I met with, he was a Midway graduate, but he was at MCC when the issues came up, and that's actually when he started getting help. Was
Really?
after.
Huh.
Yeah.
So what kinds of help do they?
Well, some of it is parent education, so they might meet with parents or whoever the caregiver might be to kind of find some ways to help them out. I mean, sometimes it could be as simple as helping someone make a payment on a grocery bill or electricity for those. But a lot of it more, they make an assessment and they determine just how much help they might need. So a lot of it is just digging in with the family and kind of seeing what kind of support they might need. A lot of it could be, kind of what type of, again, trauma-informed care can we give, because some of these have struggle with how they can best assimilate into regular life. So, and then the parents might be struggling too. So it's a way to help them out. Just giving them kind of a roadmap, really.
Yeah. So, how are folks referred to the Methodist Children's Home?
It goes through agencies.
Okay.
And then there's a vetting process. Not everybody's a fit.
I can imagine. I
Right.
mean, you have a limited amount of, bandwidth that you can help
There's
folks with.
space. And then you mentioned the Boys Ranch earlier out in Axtell. That's actually...
That's a residential thing as well.
It is residential as well, but they changed it recently. I think in 2023, it started taking a little bit more of the kids who struggle more. And it is male, boys only.
Okay.
But it is
So they
for
kind of
those
put
that
them to work.
they do find things for them to do. I mean, there's horseback riding, there's work, but I mean, there's
Well,
also
then there's stuff,
there's also
chores you have
schooling,
to do,
right?
right.
And there's also schooling, but they do live there. But it's for the kids who need a little bit of that extra help. So, but it's great. And then I think one thing that's probably not as well known is they also have family outreach offices. There's one here in Waco at on 5th and West Waco Drive. But there are 12 others across the state of Texas and one in New Mexico.
And what happens there?
Kind of the same thing. It's for people in that area that might need that type of help, whether it's parental education or, they're having an issue with a son or daughter or a grandchild that they just can't quite control, or they've got a poverty issue. It's the same thing. They can go to there. They kind of work within for the most part, a 45-mile radius. But people that live farther out, there's ways that they can find help.
Yeah.
Especially these days, with COVID, they had to figure out ways. There's a lot of telecommunication, and Zoom stuff. So that was always an option too.
Right. How is it supported? I know my Methodist grandparents supported it for sure.
That's
so it's through the churches, I guess.
It's through the churches, but that's actually a fairly small amount now. A lot of it is just reaching out to donors. Past alumni have been
Really?
very beneficial.
Because there probably have been a lot
There have been
of
quite a few.
people go through.
I wish I knew that number off the top of my head.
Yeah, well, I mean, it was started in 1890. I guess that'd be
It went-
a few.
And they do have a huge endowment that they're able to use
that's
for as well.
wonderful.
So that helps greatly.
Yeah, that's great. Do you do fundraisers though?
Constantly.
Yeah, oh, okay.
Yeah, that is an ongoing thing. We're actually working on our Christmas appeal right now.
Okay.
Because that's around the corner, and got getting the paperwork, the publications ready for that, and reaching out. So
Yeah. Does this also involve like toys? Getting together toys and things like that.
we
for
do
Christmas
have
giving?
we do have a Christmas toy drive later that I'm told is a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Because a lot of us bring our own, and there are gifts. We try to get certain donor levels to benefit the kids as well. So,
yeah, for wish lists
Exactly.
for those kiddos. You spent many years though in journalism. What kind of drew you initially to that profession?
Well, I have to. I think what got me there was when I really couldn't wrap my head around differential equations in engineering calculus.
I don't even know what those words were you said.
I knew what they were, but I couldn't quite. It was like, this is not the math I grew up with.
No.
So yeah, I thought I might be an engineer, but it had always intrigued me with being able to tell the stories, being able to report. I used to read the paper all the time. Used to watch the news. I was impressed by watching some of we used to get the Houston area broadcasts where I grew up.
Yeah.
So that was always in the back of my head, and took a Journalism 101 class, and that kind of sold it for me.
Yeah. Yeah. So you went to A&M, right?
I went to A&M.
So yeah, we of course at the TV station we had different ones we had a sports guy who was an A&M grad. Yeah.
Yeah, it's funny looking back at it now. I was a first generation for my family to go to college. Well, other than junior, my mom went to junior college, but so I didn't have the big background, but I still wound up getting pulled into doing sports while I was there, and that was actually when they hired me at the school paper. It was kind of like, well, we know you don't have a big background in sports, but we think you'd be good, and it was, and I took to it, but it's funny. I mean, I covered Kevin Murray when he was playing A&M, and now his son Kyler is starring with is quarterbacking the Cardinals.
Wow.
In Arizona.
Yeah.
Just means I've done it for a while.
You have done it for a while. So you have covered a lot of stories. Are there any that kind of just stick out for you?
Probably the one that sticks out the most, sadly, would be the West fertilizer explosion, because that was actually coming out of a Sunday school over at church. I helped with an English as a second language class, and I got out and my phone started blowing up. It's like, oops, sorry.
No, I know.
I know. Poor choice of words there, but started seeing phone calls and texts. It's like you need to get into the office and help. So everyone was, it was all hands on deck.
Yeah,
they went out there.
Deck, yeah.
I was kind of partially helping to coordinate and actually taking a lot of phone calls. It was amazing. That night we were, I was having to do calls. CNN was calling. It was, it's
Right.
amazing. You get something like that, and then all the outside media is interested.
You then
and they
to report for them.
Exactly.
Right. No, I know.
Which is not tricky. But in fact, they said, "Can I talk to one of your reporters out in the field?" It's like, well, no, they're out there reporting for us. I mean, they're relaying things to me. I'm happy to speak to you.
Yeah.
Though I'm not on the ground.
Right.
Exactly.
No. I hear that. Yeah, that was a horrible. That was a horrible night. And we were getting phone calls in the newsroom as well. People like driving on the interstate when it happened. Their car literally shoved into the next lane.
Yeah,
from
incredible.
From
the blast,
reverb, or whatever you call it. So much more I want to talk to you about, Ken Sury. Your work with the City Council in Whitby. We're going to get to that, but we're going to take a quick break. I want to tell you that today's show is brought to you by Gather & Co., where we transform houses into homes. You stay with us.
Unlock a world of convenience with Mully Box, your one-stop solution for personalized subscription boxes delivered right to your door. Each box is tailored to your taste. Mullybox.com. That's MULLYBOX.com.
So all you have to do is tap your Popple to the back of someone's phone, like that, and they instantly get your social media and contact info right on their screen. They don't need an app or a Popple to receive your info. So get your Popple today and start impressing everyone you meet. Make it pop.
And I'm back with Ken Sury, and you have worn a lot of different hats. And of course, we've been talking about the Methodist Children's Home, which is your new workplace, and it's what seems to be a wonderful fit for you.
Yeah, I feel really blessed to be there.
Yeah. Is there something that you think people just don't really understand about what you do that you would like to communicate?
Well, I think probably the main thing is, honestly, even with just the home, I mean, not, it's still got the Methodist home. And I think a lot of people still think it's an orphanage, which it hasn't been for a long time. It's just, it's really meant to help children and families meet them where they are and help benefit.
But you do provide housing so that it is.
There is residential housing for them, yes.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's really sharing that story. I think in some ways it probably is kind of a little bit of a crown jewel, an unknown entity in some ways, beyond seeing those manicured lawns. And it's beautiful. I mean, honestly, the lawnmowers are working constantly, it seems like. There's a lot of land out there too.
It is just, it's
but
lovely.
It's a gorgeous campus.
It is gorgeous.
And I think that helps with the kids feeling at home there as well.
Yeah. So now we're going to talk about Woodway. So what inspired you to run for city council?
A phone call on a Wednesday night from a friend who said, "Would you be willing to run for city council?" that was really where it started.
Funny how that works.
Yeah. I think I always kind of felt a call to public service in some regard, but that was never an opportunity. I guess you could argue, I think journalism is a public service in many ways.
No, it is. Yeah.
I mean,
news and information.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But while I was working at the Waco Trib, that was never an option because you could not have a conflict of interest. You obviously couldn't be reporting on yourself, or that would be awkward.
That would be awkward.
That would be extremely awkward. But I also knew it kind of made
you'd get the quotes right.
That's sure. You fix them as you needed to. But it was a little awkward when I let my former coworkers know about it, just because I knew they'd have to
Oh,
to talk to me occasionally on that. And it's like, yeah, now I'm on the other side of
that's
the aisle.
kind of interesting.
But,
yeah. Good for
But
you, though.
it hadn't been bad. I'm not, I'm one of 7.
Mm-hmm.
And I think we all work to, try to do what we can to hopefully, make the city better. I mean, it's got the same issues other cities have. I mean, you've got to keep the streets going. You've got to get the water wells working. We had a lot of issues with water wells last summer that thankfully are much better. Pipes are, it's
infrastructure is
older,
always going to be a problem for
exactly.
cities. Everywhere, streets.
So we're looking at the ways to just do that. Of course, water is really an ongoing concern for everything. You look at statewide. I mean, water is a big issue. How are we going to have enough in the years to come?
Mm-hmm. Of course, you're kind of close to Lake Waco. We've got Lake Waco right there.
We are, but when our wells provide as much as they can, we go to the city of Waco,
right?
To
you don't
get some of the extra.
Right. So you're buying water.
We are buying water
from Waco
when we need to. Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So, are there some key projects that you're looking toward or priorities? I mean, we've kind of hit on the big ones, but
one thing we're looking to do, we just recently wound up putting up the new Woodway Family Center, for recreation.
Oh yeah, there's a little controversy.
There's a little bit of that, it's a shame,
recall.
Because thanks to COVID, it wound up, slowing things down and knocking up the price of things. So I was not on council at the time, but there were plans for it to be much larger than it wound up being because they just had to. I mean, I think frugally they had to look at how can we best spend it. So now there's a big issue. It has been a big issue with what to do with the old building, which has a number of issues. It has to be ADA compliant and such, and just trying to figure out what's the best use of that facility. Now we did agree to demolish it and looking to do something else. Mm-hmm. That's yet to be determined. We're still that's probably our big thing to look at. We're going to be looking at a lot of different options.
Yeah, right. Because again, the cost of construction. I mean, and to pay for that would be strictly tax dollars that you're.
It would.
Or would you be trying to get sponsorships and get do fundraising?
We would try to do it with the money available.
Yeah, but it's a community center like that is so important.
It does. It's it serves a lot of folks. Mostly, it's serving our seniors right now.
Sure.
Which I'm glad they've got a place to go and do a lot of things. Pickleball is quite popular.
Yes, it is. I know. So as a journalist, and you understand, our desire to report the story and all that kind of stuff. How do you balance transparency and communication in what you do as a councilman?
Well, I feel if you can't be transparent, you're not really doing much of a service to your constituents. There are the limitations. I mean, when you're talking about things that go on in executive session, property type issues, potential litigation, there you have to be tight-lipped. But otherwise, it's pretty much just sharing, as honestly and transparently as you can.
Yeah.
What's going on.
Everybody get along pretty well on the council?
For the most part, we've got a few differences of opinion that flare up from time to time, but I think for the most part we're all working towards doing the best for our
and it's
citizens.
good to have a number of minds putting in input. But
agreed. Yeah, if you all had the same opinion on everything, it probably wouldn't serve your citizenry well.
Yeah, well, I do not live in the city of Woodway, so I don't have a dog in the fight, but as it were. But I appreciate anyone who does take on the mantle of public service like that. My husband was city councilman here in Waco for a time, and he got to know J.B. Smith very well. Yeah. So, and everybody has a job to do, but it's something that's necessary, and it's not paid. You don't, you don't make any money. Are there any perks that you figured out?
You get a little name badge.
You get a name badge. You probably get invited to a lot of things.
We do, and that's probably one of the weirdest things for me now is I will go to something and it's like a chamber event, and it'll be, we have some elected officials in the crowd. It's like, I've got to stand up now and wave to the crowd. Like,
Yeah,
I keep forgetting that until they say this. Oh yeah, that's part of it now too.
that is part of
But-
it. It's you want to be recognized. So where do you see Woodway into the next decade? What are your long-term goals or?
I would say, a lot of it is what we talked about already. It's really just making sure that the city is as well poised for serving its citizens.
Yeah.
With that infrastructure. We're kind of landlocked. There's not a whole lot of areas
I
we
was
can
going to
grow.
say, I mean, because Waco did kind of go around
Right.
with the extraterritorial jurisdiction
exactly.
thing. Yeah.
Yeah. We can't build out. We are trying to, find ways to add new businesses. I
Yeah.
mean, and that's limited area as
I'll
well.
tell you that Highway 84 corridor
84 is
is
where
really happening. That is
where it's at, and it's continuing to have interest.
Yeah.
So we'll look at trying to build that, I think, wisely. I mean, you've got to grow, but you have to make sure that you do it well, because so many of our residents just love the atmosphere, the peace and quiet that they get for the most part, and the chance to know their neighbors, and I think that's really what makes Woodway what it is.
Yeah. So you have dedicated your life to service, in so many different ways. What continues to drive that sense of purpose for you?
Probably the way I grew up, and honestly, even with church. I think with church, you kind of try to have a servant's heart, and I like to think that I'm living that really in everything I do.
Yeah.
I hope to, at least.
Yeah. Yeah. Of course, for so many years you did Waco Today. You were the guy.
I did love Waco Today.
Waco Today was such a wonderful public, and I was so sad when but newspapers they're different now than when you first joined the Trib.
They are. I mean, so
How
much.
long ago? When did you go to work for the
So I arrived in March of 1998.
Trib? Okay.
So it was, I think probably the 70s and 80s were really the heyday for newspapers everywhere.
Yeah.
90s were still strong. And I mean,
Strong,
the
yeah.
newspaper was doing well. It was covering area. All the contiguous counties were covered as well. We had a designated person for our outlying areas. But over time, that footprint just kept shrinking, and now the coverage is really, if it's not within the county, it's really rare to be able to physically be able to cover that any longer. So I hated to see that, just the number of really talented folks over the years that we lost.
Known so many wonderful reporters. And of course, one of my big stories that I've reported on, of course, was the Branch Davidian.
Yes.
You want to talk about that?
Sure. Well, I mean, when I arrived, we were at it was at the 5-year anniversary.
Okay.
of it.
Okay.
So I missed the actual happenings there, but I kind of got there on the 5-year, and I remember in my cubicle we had a little kind of a cheat sheet, because we knew there'd be other entities that'd be trying to do their own stories on it. So I'd have the list of of information that I could provide about things that happened. How long did it last? How many were officially lost in the fire and that type of thing. So
well, and the Trib, of course, doing great journalism, prior to the whole thing. We don't really have to get into all that, but on the day of the initial raid, I went to cover the press conference. Tommy Witherspoon comes up to me and he said, "Ann, do you have any Tylenol?" And I said, "You look like you could use something stronger than Tylenol." He said, "I've been laying in a ditch for 50 minutes with bullets flying overhead." So, that's when it got real,
Exactly.
shall we say? That journalism can be a dangerous thing. And of course, Rod ate a lot. His car was smashed by a tank.
Yes, I mean, that's great stories.
Yeah.
And for the longest time, we used to have the museum there on the second floor, and the steering wheel from that vehicle was mounted up there as a reminder.
So where did all that memorabilia go? Do you know?
It is in storage somewhere.
I'm hoping when the Helen Marie Taylor, the Taylor Museum of Waco and McLennan County History, that all can.
Yeah, I don't know what
maybe-
the long-term plan. I want to
be
say
great.
that I think Baylor did catalog everything, That was my understanding, but it is in storage somewhere. But it was, that was kind of Clifton Robinson wanted to do that when he owned the
Right.
paper, and Ann Rosnowski,
Oh, I love
she
her.
she was fabulous.
Oh, I loved her. Storybook Christmas. So, I worked with her many
Yeah.
times on.
Her nickname was Aggie Ann, so that was
Yeah.
a great
Right.
connection for me as well. But
Sure.
Ann was so terrific, and she
Yeah.
really took it on with putting that museum together, and I thought it was fabulous. It was really and kind of underserved in that it was tough to have people be able to come.
Right.
I wound up kind of being the de facto person to do the tours during the
Uh-huh.
week because depending on how the magazine schedule was, I might have some time to do it. So there,
Yeah.
a few Boy Scout troops and journalism classes that would come and get the tour. So I really loved doing that.
So much. There's, the Waco Trib has had such an amazing role in the community, and I hope for the best for them. But things have really changed. I mean, not having a paper every day arrive at somebody's house. I mean, things change though, and
They do.
Industries and professions have to
Readings change.
pivot.
I mean, even I'm reading it online more times than not. We still get it at home, but
Right.
I tend to read it online more than the physical paper.
Right. Well, it's an amazing career, and you've been a wonderful example of a top flight journalist.
Well, thank
and
you.
it's delightful to see where you are now. Is this what you would have imagined, or?
Not really. I didn't see myself doing anything other than journalism, and really other than newspaper, even though that was always morphing all the time. But for me, I felt like I grew into that role, and I really did enjoy doing the magazine because it enabled me to connect with so many different other individuals and a lot of the nonprofits in town, that do such great work here in Waco. I was glad we could kind of shine a light on them through the magazine.
That's what I have thoroughly enjoyed about my aspect of reporting has been so much with nonprofits and.
Right, because
Yeah.
they need to have their story told.
Yeah, and they don't have a big budget to buy advertising, get a rate card, and all that.
Exactly. So I envisioned myself continuing to do that, but then when the decision was made at the corporate level, not locally, to do away with the magazine. Actually, the call was that my job had been eliminated, and I then followed up with, well, what about the magazine? It's like, well, that's gone too. Yeah. It's like, I hated to hear that. I mean, I hated it for myself, but I also hated it for
I've saved souvenir copy. I mean, I've got many copies of Waco Today that I've just hung on to.
I do have a lot in my garage
I bet
as well
you do too.
that I hung on to over the years. But
oh man,
but I do feel like it really served me well for being able to do what I do now.
Yeah.
I was at another nonprofit for a short time called Farmer Veteran Coalition, which has its national headquarters here, and actually is going to be doing their national conference here in Waco as well. I think right as this episode drops, I think is when they'll be doing theirs. But they work with military veterans who want to get into agriculture, some aspect of it, and that was a great opportunity as well. But then earlier this year, with all the Doge cuts going on, USDA had a lot of stuff in the mix. So much of my salary was paid through the grant work we were doing, so it just wasn't feasible to. I was not the only one affected by that, but
right.
But I'm really happy to have landed where I have.
Yeah. Well, it sounds like it's a great fit, and I have loved hearing more about the Methodist Children's Home and your work with that, and it's been fun reminiscing about
Right.
big stories and all that. But again, all the best to you and your work with the Woodway City Council, and
Thank you.
appreciate your time with us today.
I really enjoyed it. Always great.